What's going on, everybody?
What's happening?
How's everybody doing?
Brad got in first. Good evening, gents.
Man, you already gonna shout him out, man? You gonna give him
Got
his
in
flowers
first.
already? Brad was quick tonight, man.
Man, Olympics, Brad.
I will not let these guys defeat.
Oh, no. Look at the next one, bro.
Oh, jeez. Dodgers. Oh, that's right. He's a Brooklyn Dodgers fan.
Uh-oh. Can somebody please get, are you on the hotline there, La Martina?
Man.
You good?
La Martina, man, he said he might be had to go to rehab.
Put a thumbs up, La Martina.
Yeah, he might have to go to rehab, man, after this, being a Yankees fan. Oh, can they get a run?
You in the South now, boy.
Did they get a run tonight?
Oh.
I mean, what's going on, everybody? We are already on fleek. We're gonna the word fleek, man. We're gonna test our black acumen tonight. I got something for you. I want to see if you can hang. See if you can hang. Yeah, we're gonna see if you can hang, man. But hey, hope you all are doing well. Welcome to Local Musicians
XP.
Oh, you a little slow. See, he was on.
Oh no, it wasn't. I was in there.
Yeah, it was supposed to be in rhythm.
You
Local Musicians XP. You got to hit that.
You didn't hear it,
bro. Hit that dotted. You got to hit that dotted 8. XP.
I was on the E of.
You hit a X. You hit two quarter notes. Bro.
Dotted quarters, bro. I could do that.
Constance in here, bro. You can speed up. Same tempo, bro. Every week, bro. Every week. Anyway,
we know what ending,
we love you, Constance.
What ending did we do?
What intro? Man, I wish we had recorded that. I wish we had recorded that because I came in one place, Joel came in another place, and you came in another place, and we just had to make a decision, man.
Right.
It was like, I think it's here. Man, that was funny.
Can we give like a little service announcement for our singers out there?
We're going to let's get through the that'll be the first order of business.
Where you gonna follow us?
Yes, we are here for your audio and visual pleasure. Thank you for tuning in on another Tuesday evening. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please go. It's too late, man. They already know now. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube, please go and subscribe, share this podcast wherever you feel appropriate. You want people to know what we are up to. We are just here talking about all things working musician, some we don't really talk a lot about social issues. We got enough of that, man. We have fun. We really want to try to get to the young people, but we're just not hip, man, enough, man, to
speak for yourself.
We got an older crowd, man. We got an older crowd. You in that plaid shirt. I mean, don't let me get Carla up in here.
Carla would be proud, bro. I'm gonna get that gig going with the plaid, dog.
Man, you go to D&K, get a plaid, a whole. Man, I have to share an experience. Guys, that I had that I never thought I would have. I'll explain in just a minute. But thank you for tuning in. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and also, yes, on Twitch. We have a great guest tonight, my man Brannen Temple, great drummer from Austin. We're going to talk a little bit about his career. He's been on the road since he was probably 17 years old. Now working mainly in Austin, being back home after all of this craziness, and the tours are not what they used to be. So I really want to hear his perspective, man, on coming off the road and then being back home, man, where he can be with his family, but also having to make a living. So it'll be an interesting conversation. And also we're going to talk some drums. We're going to talk drum. I mean, man, enough of this keyboard, Bill Evans, all y'all, man, we're going to talk some drums, bro. We're going to talk drums.
Piano's a percussion instrument as well,
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. See, I know you're going to sneak it in somewhere. You know, we're gonna talk about the kit, the trap kit, man. That's what we're gonna.
I'm the most rhythmic piano player you know, bro. Come on.
Listen, man. Like I said, every bad musician that I know who is not a drummer is all about the drums, and that's the God's honest truth. I don't know a bad cat.
Right.
I've never played. I mean, they are all about the drummer, man.
Gotta be.
About the drummer. So, shout out to you and uh, your like-minded individuals, because I heard you talk about some drummers, bro. Heard you talk about them, man.
I'm rough on drummers, bro. I am.
Rough. You are extremely, extremely rough. So,
Sorry.
but anyway, first order of business is next week I will be out of town. So are we gonna be on? I'll be in Key West with them dudes, bro.
Okay.
So we may skip, or we will find out if Mr. Jackson wants to. He's very, but you know what, man? My man got a busy schedule. Look, man, we all understand, especially you got a lot of stuff going on, man. So we might just.
Yeah, can we really find a co-host like you to replace you?
Well, I mean, you know, I'm not the greatest, but I do what I do. So.
Hey.
You know, but you see, you have to slide in my shoes, and then you have to find somebody to replace yourself, man. So that's what you got to think
about. Well, I'm irreplaceable then.
Okay, if you say so. I got Falgu waiting in the wings, bro. Got Falgu on the bench. You got on the bench.
Faljeezy and the Weezies.
So, but anyway, we will let you guys know. Chances are we will be off next week, but then we will be back on the second week of November. But we will let you know. We will let you know.
Yes.
And other than that, man, what's been going on? You just got back from a little vacay.
Well, yeah, if you call it that.
I mean,
yeah. It was good to get away. It's good to get away,
man. Reset your mind a little bit. I mean, I know it wasn't an excursion, but
I didn't play any. So that made me miss playing. You know, I didn't even have a piano around. So, yeah, that's weird.
So, what do you do in that situation? Do you?
I don't even think about it.
Is it just? But isn't it good? Is it good to just be like, I'm not even thinking about that? Or I know it's hard when you come back, but
it is. It's like when your wife goes out of town for a week. The first 2 days, you're like, oh, I got to adjust to this. You know, I can't sleep the first 2 days because you're used to somebody in bed. But then you start find out you're gonna say something. It's like, hey, babe, check. It's like, oh, she's not there. It's like, oh, okay. So then you get productive. You start doing other things, right? Cleaning the house, fixing up stuff. Then after that, then as soon as you get acclimated to them gone, then they come right back, and you know. So I think piano's like that too. Once I get it out of me for a couple of days, I'm like, okay, I don't have to worry about that. I'm getting productivity somewhere else. And that's what was happening. And so then when I came back, I was like, okay, let's see, when's my next gig? Monday? I got to teach Monday. I got to do this. So back in the saddle. So kind of enjoyed coming back, but I felt rusty yesterday when I played. Was it yesterday? Yeah.
You might have, I mean, you might have been rusty, but I will tell you this, man, the vibe and the emotional content was on 1,000, because I could tell you hadn't been playing and you want to play. Sometimes it's actually a cool thing, because you're kind of, you might not be as clean and as precise as you want to be, but then you have another gear that takes over.
I mean, the anticipation of wanting to play. I got there early, got something to eat, settle down. You know, kind of like you said. You know, people want to come and talk to you before you play, but you just got to get in your mindset. And they don't. Mm-hmm. It's no knock against people. I'm not trying to give.
We are going to talk about that though at some point, man, because I don't think people really realize
acuity, the stuff that you have to keep up with and process. Like people really don't know like how much is going on. What are you listening to, and how you get in the moment, and change is flying by, and somebody does something. I mean, you can imagine like if if you're in a room at a movie theater, right, and you see a light shine over here, and then you're like, you'll be distracted. But that's our world. You're playing and you know what things will sound like, and a drummer hits something, boom, and you're like, should I grab that? Should I not? Should I go with it? Are they going to do it again? Should I remember it for the next chorus? All those things are going on. So you're playing exactly in the past, present, and the future at the same time.
Right.
You're remembering what happened before to keep up with it, just in case. We were playing Ellis tune, Swinging at the Haven, right? And you did something. You went the lick at the end is ba 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 da, but you went ba 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 ba, right? I didn't catch it the first time because how am I going to catch it the first time? I didn't know you were going to do it. So for all you guys listening out there, I had to put that in my memory banks. When it comes back around again, will I be able to do it and execute it? And when am I going to play? Because he's playing those hits. Da, 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 da. The other thing I had to think about is, what's that figure? Now, all the time I'm playing and I'm trying to express chordally what's going on. And I'm saying, okay, where's one if we do da, 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 da. Well, I've been playing so long, I don't have to think about where one is. You know where it is. But I know if I'm playing with Chris, he can mess with me it's not malicious, but he's very creative. He might do a permutation of it. And then if I don't figure it out right then and there while I'm thinking about it, I can get lost. So shout out to like Kenai Boto. I don't even listen to his solos. At least I listen to Chris. I don't even listen to Kenai solo. I can't even tell you what he played because he plays so much crazy stuff. I'm like, he's going to lose me and I don't want to be lost. I think it's more important for me to come back in at the right spot than to listen to his solo. So anyway, so those kind of things go through your head and man, you forget how much you enjoy just those little things. Like, let me see if I can catch that. Oh, let me be prepared for it the next time or whatever,
Yeah, because them days are few and far between now, man. Days are few and far between, but we will not dive
we'll address that another time.
now, but we'll deal with that another time. Hey, man, we've been told we can't go nowhere, so
I think that's a double negative. So we can go somewhere. It cancels out, right? Y'all can't go nowhere. Cancels out. We can go everywhere.
That's what we was told, man.
Thanks, Troy. I appreciate you, bro.
That's what we was told. So
hey, can I get my quick public service announcement to vocalists? Just quick, real quick.
We got a guest tonight, man. We're trying to keep it we're trying to keep it moving. I got a D&K story for you.
Okay. Go there. I'll take that. I'll give up my story for your D&K, bro. Let's there.
I mean, if
you had to call me for the D&K, bro.
D&K was deep, man.
Hey, look, y'all. This is the call I get. I say, Chris Burroughs say, yo, what's up? Have you ever heard of D&K? Yes, no pleasantries. Not hello. Hey, bro, have you ever heard of this place called D&K? I said, why, yes, I have.
So, for those but is it a Southern thing? They're not like other places, right?
I haven't seen them anywhere else but here.
So, the main like place, like the offshoot discount place in the Atlanta area
is K&G.
It's called K&G, right? Everybody goes there because they have reasonable prices. They have a lot of knockoff type stuff, but it's name brand. But it might be a few seasons ago, so they get the stuff, they price it right. You go in there, you can get fitted for a couple of suits for a couple $100, and if you dig, just like if you dig it's the same thing. If you know how to dig, you will find some gems that you're like, wow, okay, and reasonably priced, yada yada yada. But they got some men's and women's clothing store. Yeah. So
that's McDonald's.
D&K okay, that's McDonald's. Okay, that's McDonald's. Okay, right. Okay, so that's the equivalent of That's a good one. That's the equivalent of like McDonald's. Like
Yes.
they got shoes, everything, and they got nice stuff. Cole Haan, I mean, all the nice name brand stuff. Right. There's another spot that I have seen for years, but I have never gone there. They got billboards, everything.
It's usually next to K&G, down the street sometimes from K&G.
So they're kind of the competition, so to speak, for K&G, right? This place is called D&K Clothing, okay? And I'm talking about D&K Clothing is like every corner hood store, clothing store that you can think about. They got the suits, they got the hats, they got the socks, the silk socks, they got the ties, they got all the matching
cufflinks.
But they got the sweatsuits with the
yes,
the sweatsuits that might have some fur. They might have a little fur on the lapel. They might have the imitation gaiters. They don't have real gator shoes. They got the imitation, bruh. And then the names, man. The names, it's not like Giorgio Brutini. It might be like
Alexander.
No, but they try to make it kind of similar. So it might be like what would be a knockoff of Giorgio Brutini? It would be like
Jorge.
Giorgio, it just might be like George Bratana, something like that. Like they make it where it's kind of close, right? So anyway, I forget my tie for this. I have a gig and I don't have a tie, right? So I'm already en route. I'm like, oh man, where can I stop? So I see the billboard for D&K. I'm like, oh man, I gotta go in. Man, I know they got a tie in there, right? I'm just looking for a tie, right? Man, walk up to the spot, bruh. Car outside already loading up with something, kind of. I don't know where this cat came from, bruh, but go in there. The first thing you see, they had ties for a mile. Like the store is already big. They got a whole wall of every single color. Like I didn't know pink had like 5 shades of pink, dude. They had salmon. They had salmon. They had hot pink. They had, every shade of pink.
Carnation pink,
dude. Everything comes with the hanker, with the matching hanky.
Oh, yeah, gotta have that, right?
But dude, the cats that was in there. Now, I will say they had good customer service, bro. But the cats that was in there, bro, it was like the cats with the painted on beards, had the fade. I don't know what this one cat had on, dude.
Everything was a knockoff.
Like a wig. Huh? It was a wig, but it was like a cross between waves and braids.
Oh dang!
I just call him braves.
He must have got the glued on joint, huh? Maybe got the.
He had the glued on joint, man.
Oh wow!
He had the glued on joint, man. Right. And he was putting some outfits together for this other cat. They had the table, had the spread. You know how they spread out the outfits, man.
That. I love
they spread it out, man. Like and the one cat's like, yeah, that's me right there, bro. That's me right there. That's me right there. So it was just I was just in a complete time warp. It was like, I was like, wow, this is insane. So I'm just like looking around and I find a tie, but the tie is so thick, bro. It's as thick as I could make a comforter out of the tie.
How you tie that junk, bro?
And the tie was so long, dude. It was like when I evened out the tie, it was still past my belt, man. I was like, how long is this tie? It was so long, man. I was like, man, these brothers like long ties in here, man.
Right. That's because you're not tying that double Windsor knot, bro.
Man, so get up to the cashier. I'm gonna close out the store. Get up to the cashier. She's like, did you want to find another tie? Because the second one's half off. I'm like, I said, no, I'm good. I'm okay. Let me get your number to get your points, right? I said, so I gave her my wife's phone number, man, so she can get on the mailing list.
She gonna get all the advertisement, bro.
She gonna get all the discounts, man.
Falgout, put that back up, bro. Falgout, put that back up.
D and K.
Bro, this is so funny. There's a D&K just up the street from me. Clothing is not bad, but not necessarily for the conservative dresser. You are right, bro.
It's like a knockoff Man of Leisure spot.
We had in New Orleans, we had Soul Train Fashions. Did you have that?
Soul Train. This is like 30 Soul Train Fashions in one spot.
One spot.
Like, it's not even like the Chinese stuff. It's like, I don't know where they get this stuff from, bro. This is like the cats that the Chinese, like, the stuff. I don't even know where. I don't know where they would even.
We gotta play a gig at D&K, bro.
D&K.
Let's do a gig at D&K, bro.
Oh my god, man!
We might get paid in suits, bro. We might have 7 suits, bro.
Hey, William Green in here. I bet you. Hey, Will. I know you know about D&K.
Come on,
Will know about D&K. He knows.
I had to go D&K. Will, you know, man. I had to find me a shirt with cuffling.
Seen a cat with the Kelly Green sweatsuit.
Yeah.
Jacket, pants, hat, shoes, all the same color. All the same. Kelly Green. Everything Kelly Green.
Gotta coordinate, bro.
Master coordinators, bro. Master. I was looking for the mushroom belt and the mushroom lining. It's like, y'all got the mushroom belt in here? Like, damn, man.
I like when the dudes laid the stuff out like, nah, I can hit you with this tie right here. Bam!
Man. Hey, what we got to do is we do need to go in there and get the cat to put us some outfits together, man.
Bro, got to, bro.
We got to, man.
But do they take American Express? Oh, wow.
No, they take they got a knockoff credit card that they take.
Yeah, take that EBT card. You can swipe that and get a bag of chips with it. No lottery ticket.
I'll take some hot fries, a grape drink, and an apple pie.
And 3 shirts.
Apple pies be hot too, man. They got the thing next to the cash register.
Oh my goodness!
They get the apple pie.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. We've had some fun, guys. We just having some fun. All right. It is time, man, to I think our guest has arrived, bro.
Yes, sir.
This cat, man, he's one of them good-looking cats too, man. That's what make you so. You'd be like, man, cat got the
hating, bro.
I'm not hating. I'm just telling you.
When the cat's got his ribs up, man. He got his ribs. When
they got the complete package, bro. You know.
I just gotta ask if those drummers that look good, man, do they twirl the sticks by their face like this, bro? Just to show everything off.
Why we got to be twirling, bro? Why is everybody?
So you consider yourself a handsome cat too, then? Okay.
I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm not a. I believe that I you know, I have an image, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
But this cat, we shared a gig. That's how I actually heard about him. This cat was like, man, you know this cat Brannen? I said, no. Yeah, this cat from Austin, man. You guys kind of remind me of each other. It's like, really?
Oh, wow.
So, okay, that's interesting. So, you know me, I'm going to do my homework, man. So I kind of did my homework, man. This is back in the days of like MySpace.
Oh, wow.
You know, it was back in the MySpace days, you know. So, you know, hit the cat up, man. We hit each other up on MySpace, man. Were you friends on MySpace? I can't remember. What was it? What was the term on MySpace?
Yeah, I can't remember what it is.
It seemed like it was another term, but I can't remember what it is. Anyway, and I was like, man, this cat plays rock. He plays swing like crazy. Plays funk. Plays all the out crazy free stuff, odd meter stuff on record. I said, man, this is who I want to be one day when I grow up, man. Be like B Temp, man. So we finally met. Cat was in town playing with our dear sister Liz Wright.
Yes, yes.
And so I finally got a chance. We finally got a chance to lay eyes on each other, hang out a little bit, talk, man, hit it off. And I believe you saw him play with Bobby Sparks, did you not?
Yeah. At Velvet Note, I believe. Yep.
And
Yeah, it was a great show.
was that the I thought you wasn't there another show? Did you go to the comedians?
I did go no, yeah, I did that one too. Jazz and Jokes, that one.
Jazz and Jokes.
Yeah.
Jazz and
That was
Jokes.
in Marietta, I think. Okay.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Shout out to Bobby Sparks.
shout out to Bobby Sparks, man, one of the legends. So but this cat, man, he's originally from Austin. He's an Austin native.
Yeah.
You know, he's played with my good brother and ex-bandmate Chris Duarte, of course, the Chris Duarte group. He is on the legendary Chris Duarte record called Texas. No, what is it? Yeah. Texas Sugar Strat Magic, I believe.
Was he in the group before you were in a group?
Absolutely. He's the original member, man. He's one of the originals. He's on the biggest, he's on the classic album that actually still is revered in the blues world, the rock blues world.
Maybe that's why it opened the door for you. If you guys feel like you're similar or whatever, maybe that's why it opened the door. Because
when Chris moved here in 05 or 06 or something like that, you know, I was already friends with Chris's wife.
Okay.
So she had been telling him about me, and that's where our connection came through, and then that's where I first heard about this cat. So,
cool.
But anyway, he's played, man, not just with Chris. He's played with Patrice Rushen,
one of my favorites. People don't sleep.
Jody Watley, Robin Ford.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the list.
That's as diverse as you can get, though.
It's super diverse. Man.
Yeah.
Eric Johnson.
Yeah.
You know. And I think he's been on the road since he's probably 17, 18 years old, man. So it's going to be interesting conversation to hear previous life into, you know, what he's doing now and surviving back in Austin, staying home and doing his thing. So without further ado, we're going to bring in my good brother, Brannen Temple. B Temp, what's up, man?
Hey, can you hear me? Testing 1, 2.
I can hear you, man.
Loud and clear.
1, 2. What's going on, brothers?
What's going on, man?
Who's in the background? We start the drums off.
He coming with the. Oh my gosh, he coming with the Lifetime.
That's the Believe It record. Yeah, Tony Williams' Believe It. That was one of the first records that I got turned on to Tony outside of the jazz world. So here in Austin, there's a drum shop called Tommy's Drum Shop, right? And so, you know, back in the day, I used to go there when I first started playing, like, you know, in the early 80s, you know what I mean? So late 70s, early 80s, you know. And so, I keep pushing it back, you know.
I know.
Anyway, so I used to
92, 97.
Yeah, 19 and okay, so Tommy used to have a small location at one point. And so all the drum sets were sort of stacked, you know, from the bass drum to all the way to the small tom, like that, you know. And so then he moved to a much larger location. And at that time, he had to, you know, sort of gain staffing. So he had this one brother, like the lone brother that worked there, man. This cat named Ronnie Green, man. He went to school with all my family, man, with my sisters and everything. So Ronnie Green, light-skinned brother with like green eyes, you know, and was into Lenny White, Billy Cobham, you know, all the real stuff, right? And so he started talking about Tony Williams one day, and I'm like 10, 11 years old, something like that. And this was after I used to ask to cut the yard for store credit. You know, that was the one thing I knew how to do was mow the yard, you know, paint houses. I used to do a lot of that kind of stuff with my dad, my grandfather. You know, so it was a lot of hard, like labor, hand labor stuff. You know.
But you were bartering,
buffing floor. So I was trying to barter with Tommy to cut the grass, and he was like, "No." So I started like, saving my money and stuff like that. But on one of the early conversations, he told me about this because I knew about the Lenny White peanut butter. What's the jam called? Peanut butter sandwiches.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
what is that? I don't know
It's
that.
it's a funk record.
Right.
Okay.
So back in the 70s, like Bill Summers when he left the Headhunters. He had Bill Summers Heat. That was his band. Lenny White, after Return Forever, they started playing funk music.
Right.
And so a lot of these cats, Donald Byrd, everybody had funk bands and stuff like that. What's my man? Everybody loves the sunshine.
Roy
Ayers.
Yeah, Roy. So I'm sorry. Yeah, so all of her, Idris Muhammad, like everybody had funk records.
Right.
And so Tony had this one, and it wasn't straight funk, so it was rock funk. But Ronnie Green was like, oh, and he sounded like a surfer, dude. Like it is like 1978, black man, light-skinned black man with green eyes. He about your height, Chris. And so like he's like, oh, dude, man, bro. You gotta hear this record, man. Snake Oil, man, is on that. It's one of the coldest tracks, bro. And I'm like, Snake Oil, what is that? He said, yeah, Tony Williams. And then he started doing his hands kind of like, Tony playing like double-handed, like eighth notes, like like this kind of thing. He's like, yeah, dude, you gotta check this bro out, man. And so of course, when I had my mom take me to the record store, man, I started tooling around for all the Tony Williams records, man. So I had, at that point, I really, got turned on to like, Spectrum, Billy Cobham, and Lenny and the records and all the stuff that was happening then. So anyway, in the back, that's the Tony Williams Lifetime. That's Believe It. So that's got Alan Holdsworth on it. So this post John McLaughlin,
right?
And
that's
the
record. Protocosmos.
Yeah, all that stuff was on that,
Man,
and
that's the joint right there. Yeah.
So
it is the joint.
I had to represent. I got a little brother Ray Charles over there. I don't know if you can see that. I got the ESP Miles Davis when he's looking up at his wife. In his book, he was like, I think they had just had like a domestic dispute, right?
Yeah, we'll call it that.
Yeah, right after that particular picture.
Yeah. Didn't they have like the ESP album where one section was like almost straight ahead, the other one was like funk, and another one was something else?
Well, not on that record. So he didn't really start poking around until like Fearless the Kilimanjaro. So that's when Herbie first played the electric piano, and then the stuff after that, Miles High, whatever, when other musicians he was using, so Tony was kind of exiting the band at that point, and starting his own thing, which is what led to Bitches Brew with Miles. But of course, Tony Williams was the first. He was the inventor of what we call fusion, with taking rock music and rock volume, and rock aesthetic, and putting that with the jazz vocabulary.
Wow.
And so, he scalped him because Tony did a trip over to England and ran across and heard about this guy. So he sent for him, and he brought Tony brought John McLaughlin over to the U.S. and they recorded as a trio with Larry Young on the organ. If you guys probably know this, but for the audience members, so Larry Young, who like Jimmy Smith and these artists of that nature, he had his own vocabulary. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So his stuff wasn't really coming out of straight bop, but of course he was influenced by blues, R&B, bebop, all those type of music. But when they first recorded, word on the street is that Larry Young used 2 Leslies. So we've all, we know what the one organ sounds like and the volume level of one organ. So he had 2, right? And then so John's playing guitar. Tony, although he has an 18-inch bass drum, he's pounding. You know what I'm saying? He's beating it down. And I guess I think that recording was recorded by T.O. Macero, who recorded, like, he was Miles Davis' primary engineer for all of the Columbia years and even some of that before, and he worked with all the luminaries or whatever. And so when he recorded them, he didn't know how to record them. So he's trying to record them in a jazz way, and they're like red line, like all the meters are like, this is before digital. So so everything is like distorted and kind of like, peaking out. And so the records, they don't sound great. Like even now, they're not critically acclaimed to recording, right? Mm-hmm. But the stuff that they played on there is just like,
well, man, I was, because we were talking about that, is like a lot of what sometimes you would really want to get to, because there would be a studio record, which was okay, that was always cool. But what you were really trying to get to was the bootlegs of the stuff, where you could get bootleg tapes of live recordings.
Man,
I remember having just cassettes, man, and it's probably, I don't know how many generations, you can barely hear what's going, but you would intently listen to that stuff because you wanted to hear the extra stuff that was going to happen.
Well, here's the thing. When you make the copy from the cassette, you got the button over here. You got to play this one on this one with the dual. You know what I mean? But check this out. So even before that, before the boom boxes, what did we used to have? We just had the realistic joint, and you just had to put the speaker up to the other speaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why you couldn't hear it. That's why you were struggling. You had to put the headphones on, like, and hold them.
Right.
And you got to hold them. Now you're talking. Now you're talking about bootleg movies.
Right.
We were just talking about that last week, man. The bootleg, going to the swap meets and getting the bootleg movies, man.
Brannen, what I think is amazing, man, whenever we interview guests, there's a consistency of their greatness is wrapped into them being able to recall people, producers, these facts that you have,
history,
foundational stuff. And really, can you talk a little bit about that? Like, how important is that for you to know those things? Like, I asked a student, I teach, and I just was going to demonstrate something. So I asked one of the students on piano, I said, can you play all blues? And he's like, I don't know it. Dude, I was like, you don't know the easy songs? What is that? So I had to start them off with foundational material, but how important is it for you, because you're just rattling off names, producers, the recording process? Like, people wouldn't even think about that. Why is that important?
That's a great question. Okay, so this is what I've come to know about this day and age. Okay, so musicians who are younger have to make a decision. You have to decide, are you a music student or are you a music collector? Okay, are you a student or a collector? So if you're a student of the music, then what that does is that takes you to like your favorite artist. Okay, well, who did my favorite artists, who influenced them?
Right.
So now you go back a generation or a few records.
Right.
Oh. Then you go back some more records. And you notice I'm saying records. I'm not saying songs.
Right.
Right. And so people now, because of the technology and what we're dealing with, all you have are playlists. So you don't necessarily have physical records, physical copies of things. And where even the price point in the 70s, the 60s, 70s, and 80s were not, it wasn't high, but they were still kind of luxury items. So you would only buy one record at a time. And so you take that record, and we know you sit with that record and you listen to it over and over and over and over and over again. And while you're listening to that record, not only are you learning the tactile piece of putting the needle right on the vinyl, right? And then you know what your favorite part is, so you got it down pat. Well, you can drop that mug straight. You like a DJ. You know what I'm saying? You're like a cold-blooded DJ, and that's why the DJ phenomenon took place when it did, because those people were listening to records and they were putting the record right at the spot, and that's where that is. Somebody had to figure that out and go, oh, I can play that again and again if I put two records together, and that's where it is. I'm digressing, but I'm just saying the point is that the generations are completely different. So we understand that if I started at Wynton Marsalis in the 1980s, well, it didn't take long for me to realize that he was playing with Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. Okay, well, Art Blakey, and you start looking up Art Blakey, then you see Monk, you see Sonny Rollins, you see Miles Davis. You start seeing all the names of all the music and then the people that played in the band, the Horace Silver. You know what I'm saying? Just the who's who of all of the musicians that came through the Jazz Messengers. Wayne Shorter. You see what I'm saying? And so it's easier for us and our generation and the older generations to have had the historical landmarks to be able to fundamentally build the foundation to go back and go all the way to the 20s, to Duke Ellington, to the music that was happening in the 30s, and then you start adding world history with those things. You know that the wars happened. We know when those things happen. We know when the soldiers went off to war, the bands got smaller. When they came back, things had changed. So there was more. It was the idea about how to celebrate life was different in America. Black soldiers still came back to racism, but we still needed a way to make ourselves feel good. So that's when all the juke joints sort of evolved into, and the way they always did, the Chitlin circuit would have, food and drink and party and maybe some, seven, get some gambling in the back, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Get some of that in the back. And so music, it was time for an evolution, which created the revolution of bebop, Charlie Parker. So all the energy was ripe, for the next movement. So after the Second World War, late 40s leading into the 50s, late 40s, it was the bebop era. And all those kids, all those guys were born at the same time. 1925, 1926, Bud Powell, Miles Davis, Coltrane, all those guys were born at the same couple, Max Roach. They were all born right there. So then there was some guys that were a little older than them, like Duke Ellington, Art Blakey, other musicians that they looked up to. Can you imagine? I have an interview with Max Roach is talking about being 12 years old, and he gets asked to play with Duke Ellington. And so he gets up and he gets on the gig on the drums. He gets a phone call, shows up, and it's a theater where they load the stage from the bottom in the basement, and then it rises up like this, and so the band starts playing, and the band rises, and he's sitting there, and he's behind the kit of Sonny Greer. So Sonny Greer's drum set wasn't just drums. Sonny Greer had the China cymbal, he had the tam-tams.
He was hip, all that junk.
So, well, but he had chimes,
right?
Like chime, like you play with a hammer.
Right, orchestral stuff. Yeah, yeah.
He had timpani, he had suspended cymbals, he had bells. He had wood blocks. He had all this stuff because he was, because it wasn't just a show where the band was playing.
No.
Comedians.
Comedians, all kind of stuff. Yeah.
So back in the day, the headliner was what? The dancer.
Yep.
That's our stuff. The dancer was the headliner. So if you go back and look at all those Cotton Club marquees and stuff like that, the early Apollo stuff, they would have the dancer.
Yeah.
They would have the dancer would be the marquee person. And so then you would see, like one of the premier orchestras, like let's say the Duke Ellington Orchestra, and then in small print would say featuring Ella Fitzgerald. Man, you see what I'm saying? And so anyway,
are you teaching a class at all? Are you teaching a class at Austin?
Wait. Let me finish the story.
Okay, are you teaching a class? I didn't hire you.
No.
Visit our Patreon account, everybody.
Wait. So let me finish. So Max Roach is on the riser, and he's going up, and he's realizing there's no sheet music here.
Ooh.
There's been no rehearsal. He's just filling in for the incomparable Sonny Greer. And so he leans in real quick and he's like, Mr. Ellington, there's no sheet music. He said, just keep one eye on the dancer and one eye on me. And you'll be okay.
Dude, that's an interesting concept because, not to cut you off, but you said something with the bebop period, and y'all being drummers, Chris, I'd like your perspective too. But this stuff used to be dance music that we played, right? And the bebop era brought it where people would sit down and drink and stop dancing to it, and it was really cerebral and listening to it. I mean, there was a lot of intelligent stuff happening when people were dancing too, right? Like even when we listen to Afro-Cuban music, when people were dancing, as a musician, we can recognize, oh, that was cool, that was complex, whatever. And some of that music is still dance music, but for us, jazz is no longer dance music. For that matter, classical music was the same way. A minuet was a dance. And then they sped it up.
Ballets.
Yeah, ballet, all that. But at some point, that became a monument where we sit down and listen to it. As a drummer, do you want people still to dance to what you do? Is like that that's important for both of you guys? Like,
go ahead,
foundationally, Chris. You got it's dancing.
Well, the music is so different. I mean, depending on what style of music you're playing. But I think inevitably, and this is something that I was having a conversation with not too long ago with a friend of mine, and because he was asking me about drum solos, right? And he was like, "Man, you could when you play drum solo, man, you could play so much stuff, man, and I get kind of lost." This is another musician, right? And I said, well, yeah, I said that can be cool. I said, but it's really way cooler if you don't get lost when I'm playing my solo, because I'm giving you something that you can still do this to. Right. Mm-hmm. So as a young drummer, you get all the chops, you get all your stuff, you're listening to, all the fusion cats, you're listening to Vinny, you're listening to, all these cats that play all these polyrhythms. So you kind of go there for a second and you want to kind of, that becomes sort of your goal is, man, I want to play 7/5 and play 10/14 and all this kind of stuff. But the older you get, the more mature you get, I think you start to kind of like, man, you know what? I want to maintain a pulse, be able to play my stuff around it, but I don't want anybody to get lost when they're playing, especially other musicians. So for me personally, I've been working on that a lot. Is like, okay, I'm going to play a solo, but I want everybody to know exactly where I am in the beat, which gets back to your point, Tyrone, about it. So even if somebody's not dancing, I still want to look out there and I want to see people tapping their feet when I'm playing. Whether if I'm playing something exotic in on the ride cymbal, or I still want that person to be able to do this to it. So they can have that feeling of being involved and being a part of the music. I think that's another thing is, you know, when jazz took that left turn of it's only for the few, right? And it became sort of a more elitist sort of mindset of, oh, well, now you just sit down and you have to figure out what's going on.
Yeah,
you know, I feel like we lost a lot of people in that translation. So
you know what? I don't believe that was ever the intention. I mean, not to cut you off. I mean, because really, at the end of the day, you know, I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it. So when you start talking about the inventors of bebop, okay, you have Dizzy Gillespie, Charlie Parker, right? Bud Powell, Thelonious Monk, you know, Miles, Kenny Dorham, you know, all the cats that are in that vein, right? Or at that time period. Well, I'm going to say it. You ready?
We got you. Go for it.
Other cultures couldn't do it.
That's right.
So what happened was
it became a secret. It felt like it was a secret formula because they couldn't do it.
Well, okay, so at that point, you know, it was critically acclaimed, and so I heard stories of like Charlie Parker showing up to clubs and with his horn open, like his horn on, walking into the club, and they would throw the solo to him while he was walking up, right? And people don't understand that he would have certain licks that were bebop vocabulary. Yeah, and so he would play it, and the people in the crowd finished the lick. This happened. You know what I'm saying? This is something that actually happened. And so you have musicians before that, like Lionel Hampton, and these types of show musicians that did make it seem like a party. Their faces were happy, you know. They were playing, and it came out of the vaudeville. It came out of the idea of let's even say to that being the plus, all the way to the negative of the happy Negro. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, Louis Armstrong, but see, Louis Armstrong wasn't clowning. At every point of his being on stage or playing music, he gave 100%. He sweated and he bled every time. Lionel Hampton.
He still sounds cosmopolitan. If you listen to Louis Armstrong right now, his creativity and entrances of rhythm, you're like, that was so far ahead of his time, you know.
Because a lot of the stuff he showed a lyricism that was no longer linear. Like what he did was he was able to move phrasing to feel more like a conversation and more like a voice. It was more like a calling. He called you into the music, right?
What do you teach at again, bro? What are you teaching us?
No, okay. So listen.
You coming for my job, bro?
No, man. But listen. So so the music and culturally there was critical mass of tension that was starting to build. Let's think about the 50s leading into the 60s.
Yeah,
social. So when did bebop begin to fall out of favor? Like as we were leading into the 60s, the mid civil rights movement, right? And so at that point, we also have to understand a lot of the schools that, you know, didn't allow blacks to be in the school. Well, then that's the period of Jim Crow where they start putting up the statues and naming schools after Confederate generals and all of these types of things. All of that stuff happened during this time. Right. So it only makes sense that music would begin to be criticized to the point to where like now it's falling out of favor in the popular sense.
Right.
So it was never intended for musicians to be pompous. It was perceived that way through media coverage.
Well, But it's also the natural evolution of things too, because as things get more complex,
Right.
then it brings a particular, outside of the social issues, it brings a matter of pride to it as well. As things get complex, you're like, can you do this? Can you do that? And then there's a rejection of that usually that happens in classical music. Latino music is the same way. You get salsa music, they had to change it for American GIs to be able to dance to it. There's so if you don't understand something, sometimes you just like, okay, well, this is not what we need to be doing, or you discredit it. And I think that it was necessary, especially for the bebop period, to exert a manner um, of complexity that regular people or musicians couldn't play, so they could not say it is inferior, right? Because everything that we see is from colonization is in America is that classical, which wasn't even developed in America, by the way, and most Europeans don't want to hear Americans play classical music, believe it or not. They want to hear us play jazz. But the classical music has been put on a pedestal that when you got to the era of bebop where they're playing this killer stuff that they can't handle, like you said, culturally, they're going to have to try to reject it to get their superiority of classical music. Now we're getting to the point where Asians are going to jazz and put it on a pedestal where it deserves to be at as that type of music. Americans are starting to do it more now, but it was, like you said, culturally, it was a way to discredit the music and discredit African Americans as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things were at play. Then
Yeah,
of course there's the Leo Fender, the invention of the electric guitar, and how that was sort of used, and that sort of that it changed the taste and of where things evolve. Like you said, there has to be an evolution. But see,
right,
the beautiful thing about all of this is it's really just all music. It's all
right,
good. It's all
right,
great. It's
right,
like Duke Ellington, two kinds of music, good and bad.
right,
You know,
right, right,
That's
right,
and
right.
so at the end of the day, I embrace the fact that the Tony Williams or before that with the way Ornette Coleman
mm-hmm.
took music, and they made it seem like it was something like it was from outer space, but it really wasn't. He was rooted in the blues.
Right, right.
You know, and what is rock and roll? Rhythm
Blues.
and
Yeah,
blues.
right, right, right.
Right.
The rock is the straight, the roll is the blues element.
That's right.
That swing. It
That's
sort of
right.
makes it feel, it's like those old Little Richard records. You
Yeah.
know, Little Richard and the name of his band was Little Richard and the Upsetters.
Wow. And look how many people came from him though, too.
Hey man,
Well,
if
yeah.
if cats haven't seen the Little Richard documentary, you I mean, I came away from that going, this is the baddest cat of all time.
He
I
really
don't care
was.
what genre.
He really
I
was.
don't I don't care his invention of what he did, and then what was so cool was they sort of like superimpose all the people that basically stole. I mean, everybody from Prince to
Mhm.
like there was just like an infinite number of artists who took from Little Richard, and I was like, man, I think this is the most influential cat
He said
in
he's the
modern music
originator.
history.
Doesn't he say
But
that's his
but there
feel? I'm the originator.
Oh,
there's no Beyonce without Little Richard.
Wow.
right,
I mean, Tina Turner even came out of Little Richard, and there's
absolutely,
no Beyonce without
man.
Tina
He
Turner.
said he learned Ike Turner
Like, yeah.
taught him the, I can't remember what but there's a piano. The way he played the piano, Ike
Yes.
Turner
Yeah.
is the cat that Little Richard said taught him how to play that.
I remember reading that.
This
Yeah.
little roll on the piano. He's like, that's Ike Turner, man. That's Ike
Yeah.
Turner.
Crazy.
Well, I mean, and here it is. Like the world is always small, but even at that point, it was even smaller. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
there was not a real large scene. The scenes were starting to develop. I always
Right.
look at the way the Austin music scene was, as a historian of sorts, you know, and you can go back to anywhere in the South in America where there was Chitlin Circuit, where you know where the black artists had to play. Well, invariably they would always allow anybody to come in. You know, white people could come and you know socialize or at least listen to the music. And here in Austin, I know for a fact that sometimes they would allow like a special night or a special time for, you know, students to come from the other side of town so that they could bring their money, they could dance, they could listen to the bands. And really, if you go through any town, and this goes back to the social thing, at a certain point after civil rights, and then you had desegregation, where, you know, these lines, they still stayed, but they were just not enforced with law, right? So that still meant that people could traverse on either sides of the track, either sides of the highway, either sides of the whatever separated, you know, the river, whatever separated the classes and the races in each town. And so with that, businesses started losing a grip. Black businesses. So now the scenes that we know that thrive, especially here in Austin, when it was once called the live music capital of the world, whatever that so-called moniker BS was all about, which was just a marketing ploy. Right. But it has its roots in the Chitlin Circuit.
Right.
You know, so you can go to San Francisco, they're gonna have the same story. You can go to Minneapolis, they're gonna have the same story. You go to Atlanta, I'm sure you guys could do your research and find that all of the stuff started with us. You know, very clearly. And then as cultural things changed, you know, it created dissonance, separation, a desegregation, you know, sort of a stretching of what needed to happen just in the world, you know. And again, that comes with the good and the bad. So now we play music with everybody. You know what I'm saying? We don't. It's not like you're even thinking about anybody's skin color necessarily when you're playing music, because at this point, even beyond the codification of jazz or classical music, which is in schools and these sorts of things, there's so many more tools. So this takes us back to the beginning when I said, are you a student or are you a collector? And so now you can collect music. You can have in your playlist one Brazilian tune, one gospel tune, one, you know, Latin tune, Latin, whatever that means. Right. Some kind of, you know, hip hop joint.
Right.
Yeah. So now you can have all these music. The accessibility has given way for us to be able to really explore and experience. I think we're at a good time in history. I don't think it's bad, you know, that we have the tools that are at our fingertips, literally, our phones, right? But like, so now you in your communities and my communities, we see guys now, or you know, young musicians, rather, that are really young, that have more facility than say 30, 40, 50 years ago. There wasn't there were only stars. You had like one or two people that really could deal with the music. And even then, their elders were like, you ain't playing nothing. You know what I mean? It's like if you go back and you listen to talk about Art Blakey, you go back and you hear stories from Branford and Winton and Terrence Blanchard, Donald Harrison. You hear these stories from these guys, and they'll tell you in a minute that you know, Kenny Garrett. They'll all tell you in a minute that Boo wasn't just like, oh, you sound great, you know, Boo Hanna, you know, there wasn't none of that. It was none of that.
Right.
You know, I know you got the video, Chris, where Winton is there, and he's like, man, I busted my lip. oh man, my lip bleeding. I bust my lip. And Art Blakey looked at him and said, you playing all the solos tonight. I don't want to hear it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like,
but man,
there was an element of tough love back then that
Can't do that.
now everybody, it's like my dad was a athlete. He was always like, somebody got to win, somebody got to lose, you know. And but the piece now is that, you know, everybody gets a trophy now, a participation trophy.
well, this is, man. So because you know you're
And
one
it's
of the
good.
first.
It's all good. It's good. It's
Is it
evolution.
though? Is it good? Is it? Is
Every
it good?
philosophy has a
Is it good?
pitfall and a weakness. So
There you go.
I mean,
That's what, Tyrone.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I mean.
okay. My thing is this though, man. Is I'm not saying because we went through the same thing with the cats that were older than us, that we weren't playing nothing, yada yada
Absolutely.
yada.
Absolutely.
But there was always sort of a thing where you knew when you were accepted into the fold, right? After you put in a certain amount of time, a certain amount
You keep getting the call for the gig. That was the way you knew.
exactly. So it's not about accolade. It's not about somebody necessarily giving you this praise, right? That because we never got that. I don't ever remember. I mean, I think back to some of the older cats, man. The only thing you might get is you might get a little bit of a head nod or something like. But they're never going to tell you ever that you sound good. It's counterproductive. I mean, it's well, I take that back because I guess it depends on the individual. I felt like this. If you were the super talented cat, they were going to be the hardest on you. They were going to be like, you don't get nothing. You know, now the cat that's trying, he you know, he might not be as talented, but he's putting in all the effort and he might get, yeah, man, you keep working at it, man. You all right. But the cat that was like that they knew that had it, you weren't getting anything except for, hey man, go back and work on that some more. You know what I mean? It was so that today to me has been lost. Is
and parents as well. Because I studied with Ellis, and Ellis told me that he's the one put them in that band. He told me I put Branford and went in that band for that.
Yeah,
right.
And Shirley Horn went and told Winton, you didn't play. That was you glazed over that solo, and he had to respect it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the Ellis having the mindset they need to get beat up on. They need this in order to get to the next destination.
And why do you feel like he did? Because he knew that they had it, right?
And they had his name. He was already touring and playing, and he was already in a small pond in New Orleans. They were gaining ground, but he knew they couldn't stay there. They had to get to the next level. I mean, people are jealous of the name now because he won that Grammy in classical and jazz, and they put him up there. But Whitney even talks about a story about what's the dude played trumpet, did Jamaica Funk?
Tom Brown.
Tom Brown. Wynn said Tom Brown cut him up when he went to New York.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Tom Brown could play.
Absolutely. To this day.
But he had to go through that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the okay, so if everybody gets a trophy now, okay,
which is called everybody getting a trophy. You know what it's called? Instagram.
What's it called?
Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Wait, what is it called? I missed it. What's it called?
Instagram.
It's called Instagram.
Instagram followers.
Wow. So if you have a talented young cat in the fold, right? And you're like, okay, this cat, he has it all. He's got the work ethic, he's got, you know, the natural ability, yada yada yada. How do you shape him? How do you mentor him? What's your process because you know if he's good already, just like you said, his Instagram is blowing up, his Facebook blowing up. He's getting accolades from people in Italy, Japan, Australia, commenting on his stuff. Man, you're a genius. You're this.
LA. Sometimes even other musicians playing on the same instrument would give you all those flames.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Fire.
You just have five, man.
Okay.
You fire, five flames. You know.
So what's your process of mentoring this young musician?
Well, personally, time on the bandstand, right? So it's like being on a gig, having the opportunities to play. So I used to play with these young guys, the Peterson brothers. They're young guys out of Bastrop, Texas, which is about 30 minutes from Austin. 30 minutes, right? And it's a country town. And they were young guys, and pretty much I met them when they were, I want to say 10 and 12 or something like that. And, they could play. They sound like 10 and 12-year-olds, but they also sounded like they were determined. The conversations off of the instruments that I was having with them, they were obviously very focused and looking to make this a reality, like them being professionals. And so that alone, just having the mentality, people, okay, I'm gonna digress one more time. People don't understand that that's a chop. The attitude.
Nice.
Right? Attitude. Okay, so they already had the mindset as tweens, preteens, or whatever you want to call them, that I have to be great. And so I have to credit them, man, because they listen to all the blues records, all the R&B records, all the rock records, and sat there with their bass and guitar and figured out all the fingerings. They're not musicians that read, neither one of them. Mm-hmm. And now they're 25, 26, somewhere in there, and they sound beautiful. They sound beautiful. But the bandstand was the place. So for about 7 or 8 years, maybe between 7 and 10 years, I worked with them off and on.
Okay, and what made you do that? What was that? How did that happen?
That's interesting. Well, one, I liked the energy, and their parents were very hands-on and wonderful, delightful people, and just country folk like I like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so they were just sweet, and so that element, that feeling, just made me feel this is someplace I feel comfortable.
Invest, right? Legacy.
Okay, so right. So that was the first thing. The second thing is just I saw them actively each week. We had a weekly gig. So each week I would hear new things. Every week I'm hearing something new. So that means they're practicing. They don't have teachers necessarily. They're doing it on their own volition. So that goes back to that attitude. Attitude is everything. As my dad used to say, right? Attitude is everything. And so they had the correct attitude. That gave me the understanding that, well, maybe it seems like from the outside, like I'm holding them up, like I'm helping them along by playing down to their level or whatever. But I really just consider playing. I was making music with what I'm having, with the environment, whatever's around me. So again, as they grew, it just made sense to stay there. And it wasn't like, we're playing or making like a lot of money with them. It was just people were making the assumption that I was like taking them and going, no, okay, don't do that, do this. Okay, it would be better if you did this and did that. I didn't say a word.
Right. You're just giving them the opportunity.
They had the opportunity, and we together created awareness. And so I could hear them responding to things that I didn't do. Because like I would see, because I didn't play all the gigs. So sometimes I'd go hear another drummer play the gig. Right. And I would see what they did and how the musicians, how the brothers responded to that. Like they would overplay at a point when the drummer got excited, or they would overplay when the drummer wasn't playing enough. They were trying to compensate for what their minds thought needed to happen. And so my humble, in my opinion, way to mentor was to just keep things steady, but push them by not playing down. I definitely pushed, but I didn't push with notes. It's like it was an energetic understanding of a nudge to like, okay, that's good, keep going, that's good. You know what I mean? So just energy. I was able to, and what I got in exchange was they're almost like Louis Armstrong and Art Blakey and Lionel Hampton, in that when they play, they just naturally are smiling. And they had to remind me to have a good time. Because like, what we're talking about musicians being on this sort of pompous thing and being like, well, people are supposed to sit down and listen and enjoy. Well, no, it's an exchange. And so just right on the bandstand, they reminded me of that exchange. Their youthful energy reminded me to have fun. It's really simple, And so as they grew, and it's like the last time I heard, I saw a little clip of young Alex on bass. Man, he could rock with anybody. Glenn too. They could rock with anybody. And they're in their 20s, and then one last thing about them, or about anybody, they understand that there's a time and place to kind of give the crowd extra, show a little bit here, and then but groove the rest of the time here. You know what I mean? And so I understood that they understood that. That's what kept me. Like if they were always just about the show, they wouldn't have held my attention.
Right.
So I think I lost you.
That's Chris, Mike. Do your wiggle, bro.
Oh man, I got to get a new mixer, bro. They saw me, man. It's so.
Say that again, Chris.
So I was just saying that, them getting an opportunity to be on stage, man, and there's no replacement for the gig. This is
not in the garage with the camera playing along with tracks.
Tyrone and I talk about, I was watching retired football player Troy Polamalu, one of my favorite players of all time, and he was his whole thing was, I need to get as many reps as possible in what I'm doing. If I'm going to play this position, I need to learn everybody's position. I need to learn what this cat's doing. I need to learn what this cat's doing. So he wants to go to the practice squad and play with the cats that ain't even going to see no game time, because he wants to get the reps. He needs to get those reps, right? So he can figure things out so that when he gets into the game, he can see everything. And this is the same thing that we talk about musically is, man, you have to play gigs with other musicians, and hopefully musicians who are better than you, before you're going to see anything. If you were just palling up with all y'all want to, because you don't want nobody to tell you anything, or you don't want to sound bad. I'm thinking, man, I sound bad every night. That's what I'm thinking personally. I'm like, you never sound good.
There's always something to learn. Yeah.
There's always something to learn. There's always something to work on. But what you were able to do with those cats, those young guys, was give them game reps, man. Just reps. Not even that you were, don't do this, don't do that. Hey, try this, whatever. It was just them being in the moment all the time. And I don't see a replacement for that. Do you see that, Tyrone? Do you see a replacement for that?
Well, that sort of thing takes time, energy, and commitment from like Brannen, right? And how many people could get Brennan's time like that? So those two people, opposed to everybody who wants to study with Brennan, everybody can't study with Brennan. So there's got to be a way for those people to study with Brennan somehow. You know what I'm saying? And or somebody like Brennan. So we all have to find that mentorship program. But I think right now our mentorship is YouTube. I'm going to check
There
out
you
this
go.
tutorial on this.
Yeah.
But that's only a small part. That's not the whole key to everything, right? But when you live with a person, you go on a road with a person, you're learning other stuff too. Hey man, listen, we're gonna set up our stuff and leave out the room. Because if we stay around, they're gonna make us play before a certain time. I mean, just look, hey bro, where's your tie for the gig? We're supposed to have a tie. Didn't have a tie, man. Hey, bro, you know, if you was in such a band, you get a fine. James Brown to do like that. You know what I'm saying? These little things that you're supposed to learn. We know a bunch of talented players that we not gonna call for a gig because it's gonna stress you out. They don't have the right car. Their car smoking. They barely got to the gig. You know what I'm saying? You're like, bruh, I don't need this stress. I would rather have somebody who can't play as well, but is gonna be on time for the gig and stuff. But this is stuff that we learn on a gig. You're not gonna learn on YouTube.
Bro, I got a call. Like a year ago. It was about 8:30 at night. Now almost 9:00. Hey man, I'm in town. Oh, okay, yeah, cool. I got this gig tonight. Oh, yeah, that's great, man. Well, where you at? Oh, yeah, I'm blah blah blah. Hey,
can I borrow a drum set?
Hey, man, I don't have a bass drum.
I knew it.
Oh my God!
You knew you had the gig, right? How you don't have a bass drum?
Right.
That's essential.
You need a pedal too. You need a pedal too. Like that.
While you at it, hey, while you at it, you got a pedal I can borrow.
Hey, you got that Black Beauty snare drum? I think I like that Black Beauty snare drum.
I gave him numbers. I was just like, bro, come on, man. It just so again, it's
that? I mean, haven't you guys learned that we all took our licks? Like that's part of it. We got to take our licks, right?
Well, I didn't say what was on my mind. That would have been taking licks, Right. But it was like it was a guy's birthday or something like that, and I was just like, it's all good, man. He'll figure it out. And he did.
I meant in our own development. We had to go through and take our own licks. Like, we've been there before where we've made certain mistakes or whatever. I mean,
I never not brought a bass drum. I'll say this too. It was like the older days, man, were like because my dad's younger brother used to be a gang member, like in New York, like up in Harlem and stuff like that.
Right.
So in the 40s, when they had, unfortunately, when they had the introduction of like heroin and different things like that into the neighborhoods. Like my dad actually remembered when there was no one that ever looked like they were high, and then all of a sudden, a dude on the street corner tipping,
Right.
And he said he saw it for the first time. Was like, what? So anyway, this to support the habit, people began to steal. People began to pawn their instruments.
Right.
Okay, so there's like a famous record that Philly Joe Jones, drummer, plays on, where he only plays his hi-hats because he pawned the cymbals. Jackie McLean and my Uncle Henry, Jackie McLean and Philly Joe used to get toe up. They used to shoot up. All right, I'm sorry. They used to get hot. And so my uncle went to the pawn shop with Jackie while Jackie was trying to sell his auto to get get some drugs or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the guy didn't believe that he could play it. He thought he stole it. So Jackie takes it out of the case. My uncle's telling me the story firsthand. He's like, he takes it out of the case, puts it together, plays it, throws the horn on the counter, and says, "Now give me my money." Wow. So they get the money, leave the horn, get high. So Jackie might have missed the gig, not only being high, but also not having an instrument. So not having an instrument and not being high. So we saw a lot of things that going back to why jazz and certain things fell out of favor because opportunities and the introduction of drugs, the lack of opportunity, the lack of upward mobility, things that happened at that time. And so that doesn't mean that everybody fell prey. So I'm not going to say that, woe is me to the Black community necessarily. And
right.
But there were issues. And so all people that are young, like you say, take your licks. Part of taking your licks is doing your homework. Mm-hmm. Historically, what have we come through?
Yeah.
Where are we going? Who am I in relation to Max Roach? Who am I in relation to Tony Williams? Who am I in relation to just a janitor that showed up on time every day and took care of his family with 3 square meals a day and the toilet's flushing?
Or they're making over 100. They're making over 6 figures now. That's what these women are looking for, right? You got to be a boss.
Well, I don't know anything about that. I mean, all I know is that the young people can only be as grounded as the people that they see around them. And that's my point about, working with the Peterson brothers. So I tried not to do anything that was not going to lead them in the right way.
Right.
So my job or my role, now it's like at my age or, our ages, we're a lot of times we might be the oldest cat on the bandstand.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so there's a certain amount of carriage that's responsibility that comes along with that.
How quick did that change? I used to be the youngest cat on the bandstand, bro.
Yeah, man, give me young Tyrone.
Oh, they call me Schoolboy. That was my nickname.
I knew you had a nickname.
Yeah. To this day, somebody still calls me. I don't think she knows my real name. Hey, Schoolboy. I was like,
I love it.
Wow.
No, man, I love it. Yeah.
Listen, brother. We're gonna start calling you Professor Temple because
somebody told me that on gig.
We just man, because you got to let cats just you let them go. You kind of see what the vibe is, what the flow is, and then you come back and hit them for a role on the show, man. I got a role for you, bro.
I got a role, man.
Well, wait a minute. We got to go to the spot and get them suits. I heard y'all talk about the suits. Hey.
All three of us at the same time.
Brennan, you gonna sound like that Damon Wayans sketch, bro. Allow me to circumvent, circumcise myself.
Listen, man.
The ambiguity, Hey, so I'm gonna tell you, hey, they used to be a spot in town. Going back to that, there used to be this. Actually, the place still exists. It's on the east side. It's a spot called Dress Up, and they had all the stuff that you want. You know what I mean?
All the stuff.
They got all the stuff you want. And it's a small place, man. But that place has been in business since the early 80s.
Wow.
Same location. Black owned. And then it used to be another spot, this cat named Priestley. Last name was Priestley.
Okay.
His store was called Priestley's Ottoman.
Priestley's Ottoman.
Yeah. And so you can get all your haberdashery, up in that mug, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, Brennan, what's the best barbecue spot in Austin, bro?
Oh wow.
Well, okay, so this is what's interesting.
And is barbecue considered beef?
What true barbecue really, and from what I understand, is how I measure barbecue is through the brisket.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay, so it has to be like the fatty and tender,
Right.
you know, and but not to the fatty to the point where you're just chewing on gristle or chewing on things that, you know, everything needs to be, you know, edible, and you
Right.
need to be able to consume.
Some double McGum type vibe, like it
Yeah,
just, yeah, it just, you're right.
so you got to be able to consume the whole thing, right? And so, you know, of course, links, you know, hot link sausage, that's a good marker. Chicken, of course, is a really good marker. Not everybody does chicken. Sometimes they might smoke a little too dry, that sort of thing. So Austin, to be honest, the best barbecue place in town, there's no just like hands down, like, hey, that's the best in the state. But a good place is a spot called Terry Black's. And like, you know, that's not one of our, you know, we don't own that spot or anything, but they're pretty solid. Pretty
And there
solid.
was a gas station I went to that was rolling the last time I was in Austin, bro. I was like, man.
In Austin?
Terry Black.
Yeah, Carmen Bradford took me out there, and it was not Shorty's or something. It was like adjacent to a Shell station, gas station. It was killing. I can't
It
think of
was
the name.
brick and mortar.
That might
Like
be it.
it wasn't a food truck, I'm saying.
No, it wasn't a food truck. It was definitely a brick and mortar.
It was on the east side. Did she tell you?
We went
You know, it's
there,
fun.
and I don't know
You know,
where I
it's
was.
funny, man. I'm playing with Carmen Friday.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell her
Oh well,
both of us.
tell her that you were just on our show and that we say hello.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's beautiful. Okay. You know, she might have taken you to Sam's.
Maybe that's the place.
Sam's in the hood. So it's like, oh, but you said a Shell station.
Well, it was close to this college that she went to, Houston
Oh, Houston
College.
Tillerson.
Houston Tillerson,
Houston
yeah, thank
Tillerson.
you. Tillerson, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, if you were downtown, you know,
And
down
maybe it
in that
wasn't a
area,
Shell station. That must have been another place. But the place Houston Tillerson, it was close to that.
well, Sam's is not that far from there.
Maybe it's Sam's. It's got to be that. It's got to be that.
Yeah, Sam's and you know, like the Sam's family, like, you know, the grandkids are now working the cash registers and stuff
Right.
like that. So you know, you walk in and there's no like, hello, man, take your order. You walk in, they like, you gonna order? You know what I mean? Like they're not really trying to.
And you're like, hey, young man, hey, blood, are you?
Nah, it's all the granddaughters too. So they ain't no pleasantries.
No
you know what I'm
pleasantries
saying?
whatsoever.
They hard, man. They hard. You know, it's cool.
You better come know what you want to eat, and that's it, bro.
Yeah. They ain't got time for that. But you know what, man? I just played some shows this weekend in Houston and Dallas. And so there's a stretch of road, there's an interstate highway 45 that connects Houston and Dallas. And it's a boring nothing on that road. And it's long, it's like 4 hour drive. And it's nothing. And so what was funny is like the other day, you might have seen this, Chris, if you saw my reel, not what do you call them? Yeah, reels. Not a reel. Yeah. What's the thing at the top of the Instagram?
Oh, your story?
Stories. Yeah. That's right. I'm sorry, stories. And so, but anyway, we were riding through, and the guitar player was like, to the driver, Larry, say, "Hey man, we might need to stop in Huntsville for, you know, restroom break." And I said, Huntsville here in Texas is where, you know, the prison the prison system. Like they it's just like a serious prison industrial complex, all in Huntsville. And so I'm like, man, we ain't stopping there. There's no way. And so then the car gets quiet, and then Larry is driving, and he says, "Hey man, there's a church here that has barbecue in Huntsville." I went directly to the phone. It's a spot called Holy Smoke Barbecue.
Wow. What?
And it's a Baptist church on one side, and then like in the middle of the parking lot is a barbecue stand. And so, well, look, can you see? I got the card right here. Okay, Holy Smoke Barbecue. Where we love Now look, where we love Jesus, barbecue, and you.
Ooh.
Serving Huntsville since 1971. I know you probably can't see that, but
wow.
Is that backwards?
Wow.
No, we can see it.
I can see it. Holy Smoke Barbecue.
Where we love Jesus, barbecue, and you.
How was it? Well, how was it?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Killing.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, man, them Soul Brothers had it popping.
Chris, I think it is Pastor Rollins watching this.
You got a pastor there that knows how to burn.
No, we don't. I don't think he does. But if he found out this gimmick, he might try it.
Yeah, he might implement a new endeavor.
Right.
Man, they had a nice smoker out front, man. When we pulled up, and the place was kind of like an old house. It looked like it was probably like a Bible study,
right?
Annex. At one point, you know what I'm saying? But 1971, man, one of the sisters, man, he said, "Well, we gonna turn this into barbecue," and it's killing.
I can hear somebody sounding like Dre. We got Bible study at 7, barbecue at 6. Just like, I can see it.
Hey, man, listen, we've enjoyed you, man. We're gonna do some more.
Yeah. I don't want to take up all the time.
We ain't even got to anything that you. I mean, man, you just went into professor mode on us, man.
Yeah, can we get you in a segment spread? Clear up your Tuesday,
right? Yeah, man. We need to talk about you.
We need to get you in, bro.
You giving the 411 on everything
else, with the NFL, bro. When the referees deliberating, they call their guy, right? You gotta get our guy.
Yeah, I gotta come in.
See, I was trying to get a timeout, man. It was no time. I was trying to get a timeout, man.
Right.
Temple, no.
I'd be happy to chat anytime, man. Chris and I, we've been trying to connect, more.
Yes.
And stuff like that, man. So,
I'm sorry,
man. So did you say we met, Tyrone?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to really talk to you, just in passing. But y'all did that gig. I think it was Jazz and Jokes in Marietta with Fontaine. But Bobby Sparks did that, and I talked to Bobby. I did a thing with this. I played with Marcus Miller out in St. Lucia, and Bobby Sparks played with him the year before. So this Bobby Sparks came back with this group, and I can't think of the name of it, but they had it was like an all-star group, kind of like a smooth jazz kind of thing. And got a chance to talk to Bobby Sparks. He's like, "Hey man, hit me up, whatever." Plus, he has all that vintage equipment and stuff. So I thought he was going to need my Rhodes when he came out, but I think somebody else found another one. So I saw you in passing. I was like, "Yo, man, it was really, really dope show and stuff." And but people were busy talking to you and stuff. But it was a great show, man. You guys.
Who just gave us a shout out there? Who was that?
Oh, that was John Lamatina. He's a great. He's a venerable drummer here, man. He has
what's up, John?
Yeah, he has a big studio teaching studio up in Lawrenceville.
And who's that right there? Somebody saying something.
That's our man Brad Thomas. He is a how do you describe Brad?
Connoisseur of all kind of haberdashery.
He's our number. He claims he's our number one fan.
Yeah. Well, what's up, man? Big up.
yeah. So
Thank you, man.
For Brennan, yeah. If anybody knows anything about Bobby Sparks, he is a groove master. He ain't going. Not that he can't. He's not going to set you on fire with these blazing licks. But he's go. Oh,
is that the spot? Oh, Falgout found it.
What?
Wait, who pulled that up?
Oh,
that's our resident producer, bro, behind the scenes.
That's it.
Falgout, can you zoom in a little bit? Let me get that smoker. I can see it.
Okay,
where is the smoker?
There it is.
So,
to the left.
Go to the.
There you go. Now go
there it is.
Okay, so look. Wait, before you zoom in too much, look at that sign right there in the front yard. Right there.
The right or the left?
No, it's a sign in the front yard.
All right, zoom back out again.
Not the other way. No,
way,
it's in the front yard of the barbecue spot, right there.
Okay.
In the middle, there's a sign. That black sign.
Is it sideways right there? It's
sideways.
Yeah. What's it say?
So it says the same thing that my business card.
Oh, okay.
Said, right, but like I kneeled down in front of it to take a picture. Big mistake. I came up with a knee full of burrs. Stick burr.
Yeah.
This man tore me up, man.
I forgot about those.
Man, I did too until then. Man, I was pulling burrs out for about 5 minutes. Got me good. But yeah, that's the spot right there, man.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this just hit out of nowhere. Oh no, somebody knew about it. Somebody knew about it.
Yeah. So we were traveling, and Larry Fulcher, a bass player with Ruthie Foster. That's one of the things I'm doing right now, playing with Ruthie.
A bass player, man. Always bass players know all them spots, man.
Yeah, man. Well, Larry Fulcher probably knows. Thank you for showing that. Whoever did that, that's classic.
Brian. Yeah.
All right, man. Word. So like, Larry knows more lyrics than any singer I've ever met.
Oh wow.
He knows more music history, about studios, producers, musicians. We talking like in the Jamaican scene. We talking about in the old soul records. Anything from like pretty much 1980 all the way down to like the 40s.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, it's an encyclopedic knowledge of stuff, man. So like those are my heroes, like cats that just know that kind of stuff. And so then he plays bass in Taj Mahal's band.
Mm-hmm.
And he so he's got like some projects that kind of or were born out of that or whatever. But then he just knows all this other stuff, Right. So the barbecue place. I was like, man, how you remember that? Just out of nowhere, And it was seemingly out of nothing. Next thing you know, I'm looking it up and look at the map. Man, we 8 minutes away.
Wow.
You got the business card, bro. You have the business card.
Do they have T-shirts? Because I'm going. Are they online? I'm going online. I'm getting one. I'm going to get one.
Brandon,
they got an email address. They don't have a website.
Oh, they don't have a website. They got an email.
They old school.
Netscape.
We'll get it. Hey, Brennan, I'm just curious. How often you play with some of the cats in Houston and they come out to Austin and stuff?
Not a lot, actually.
Okay.
One of the cats I work with, that's kind of like, definitely cut his teeth in Houston was, Andre Hayward, trombonist.
Nice.
We're gonna hit tomorrow, actually. So that's my guy.
Do you know this keyboard player relocated from New Orleans? His name is Daryl Levine.
Yeah.
Man, Daryl, bad cat, bro.
Daryl's beautiful, man. Daryl is, he's a sweet guy, man. Beautiful cat. Plays like crazy.
Yeah.
All the styles. We did a gig one time, man, where we were kind of playing some of the music that's very underappreciated and way less celebrated in the jazz idiom, which was a lot of the music that came around the early 70s in jazz.
Yeah.
So most of those artists, a lot of those artists were like black artists, kind of underground artists and stuff like that. So they were still kind of pushing in the liberation movement. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, but I invited him down to Austin, and we played his gig. So it was like one of the first times I played with him, because I did one gig with him where we were playing behind his vocalist, Pamela Hart. She's an Austin sort of mainstay, you know, with jazz and blues and stuff like that. She puts on her own festivals and shows and different things. But anyway, so Daryl came down and played. We played behind her, and I was like, "Oh yeah, man! You know, we know all the same cats. Like in, you know, Houston, you know, Mark Simmons, you know, Kyle Turner, you know, Corey Stute, Kerry Wilkins. Like these guys, those are my brothers. You know, it's like all those guys like that. LaQuinn Lay's another tenor player. There's several cats.
Michael Ward.
I know Michael Ward. You know, I played a gig. I played a strange gig in Houston with Paul Jackson Jr.
Oh wow!
And so it was Paul, but opening was Kyle Turner and Michael Ward.
Right.
It was a wild gig. But anyway, Andre Hayward ended up sitting in on that gig too. It was great. But all the Houston cats, man, there's so many cats in Houston right now. But they have kind of their own circle. And then it's crazy because I don't really know where they play.
Me neither. When I go through that, I was like, man, where are y'all? Where is this thing?
I don't know. But they, you know, they be gigging. You know, they got gigs, but that's not like, you know, the scene there is kind of dispersed.
Yeah.
Kind of young. You know, I know there's some spots over in the hood, like in Fifth Ward.
Right.
There's some old school jazz kind of juke joint spots.
Right.
Where, you know, like the local stalwarts are like in there hitting, like the older cats, you know. And then there's places where some of the young people are playing and stuff like that. And that's a little different.
Right.
But again, I wish there was more of that kind of crosstalk.
Right.
You know, there's a thing that happens in Austin now. What do you call it? A video. It sort of came about before the whole shutdown, but they were doing
collaborate by video kind of thing.
Well, the guy has a platform, and so he live streams jazz concerts. It's called Monks, like Thelonious Monks. It's called Monks. So a lot of the cats are coming in from Houston and different places because it's a platform for them to play. I'm trying to think that I played
like a Tiny Desk concert.
Yeah, I'm trying to think that I played with Daryl on that. But I did. So the thing I did with Daryl and the old '70s stuff, we were playing. He just started playing like Cecil Taylor, like just like really avant-garde piano playing, because that's what the music called for.
Right.
And it was like, oh, I didn't know he could do that. You know.
Exactly.
And so we went all the way in on that. Just playing energy, not even really, swinging necessarily, just energy.
Right.
And then we went in the groove and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, man, this is the kind of guy I like,
Yeah.
And then I did a gig with Kyle Turner. If you know Kyle is like,
smooth
he's like R&B jazz.
Right.
And Daryl had the right feel for that.
Yes.
I mean, really the right feel.
Yes.
Like just laying.
Hey, Tyrone. Guess who else he knows that he connected? I can't remember if you connected us or somehow you were some kind of a connect. But Mr. Will Minifield.
Whoa. So
I can't remember if Brannen found out that he was here and he hit me, or if Will told me, because Will was he in Austin for a second?
Yeah, he was going to school at the University of Texas, so he got his doctorate and everything in town.
So that's what it was. And then there was somehow Will was like, man, I've been playing with Brannen Temple in Austin. He told me about you, or I can't remember how it happened, but
I might have, yeah.
I hit Brand. I was saying, man, what's up with this cat Minifield, man? He was like, yeah,
sorely missed, bro.
Man,
right now.
Me too.
Tyrone real mad,
bro. He's in Iowa real right mad
because he can't get out of. He doesn't have that 1A, to call for.
Dude, it was perfect because
it was perfect.
Give you a hard time because you have to sub out again because you had another one.
Yeah.
Minifield, it would be nothing lost. It'd be like, yeah, man, they was almost too happy. I was like, yo, get too happy, brother. I can't do the gig, But
man,
it was perfect because you always need somebody that could replace you and nobody would be mad. You know what I'm saying?
For the right people. For the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah. William is an amazing gentleman, man. He just did I want to say he did like an opera recently.
Yeah, he did in Cincinnati. Maybe Cincinnati. He went back to Cincinnati.
No, he's in Iowa right now.
Well, he did it there.
Oh, that's right. Iowa. My bad.
But and as a matter of fact, we did talk recently, man. And he was like, "Hey, man, can you do this gig?" And it was completely random or out of the blue, in my opinion. But I was like, "What's the date?" And he told me the date, and it turns out I was actually in Dayton, Ohio, the same day, which is like 45 minutes away from Cincinnati.
Wow.
And so, Dayton is like the land of funk. Lakeside, Slave, Ohio players,
right.
Roger Troutman.
Right.
And so every time I'm up there, my focus ain't even on nothing but funk. That's all. I from the time I get the gig to the plane ride, I'm just listening to funk just because I'm going there. Right. And so when I got there, I don't even think I was able to call him because our gigs were at the same time.
Right.
But I did just speak with Will. And then you mentioned brother Chris Duarte.
Yes.
So I just did a thing with Duarte recently. I did Duarte's last record.
Correct.
And the first one that I heard you mention.
Mm-hmm.
And that one was like you said, very monumental for Chris. And it did really well. And but yeah, he's got a later one out, and we used the same producer for that record.
Right.
And
you did that in LA, didn't you? Because
we did.
Yeah,
we went out there and did that. That was a lot of fun. And I just played a gig with him the other day, man. His volume is still cranked. You know what I'm saying?
Of course it is. And what else would it be? What else? How's he doing, man? Because I know he had he had an accident on his bike.
Yeah, he had a bike accident. I was like, Chris, we ain't skateboarding no more.
Too old, bro. Too old for it, man.
We ain't scootering.
No.
We ain't bike riding.
No.
Bro, it's done. We ain't doing none of that.
I was about to put on some roller skates. I was like, nah. Too much to lose.
Hey, man.
Rollerblading, dude. No.
Fall wrong.
Done.
You seen that video that time Mike Tyson was on that hoverboard?
That boy fell straight down, bro.
Oh. God. I saw that. I'm like, there's my answer.
That's it right there, bro.
I ain't never getting on nothing like that. But anyway, man,
man, hey, man, we're going to do this again, dude. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up.
We haven't even got to the drum stuff yet.
I know. I was looking forward, but hey, we got plenty to get to. But thank you for coming on, man, and chopping it up with us. And it feels like we just talking in the living room right now, man.
That's
so
that's how we do, man.
I really appreciate it, man. And I'm gonna hit you up, man, in the next day or two. We'll talk some more and
thank you guys, man. I really appreciate the opportunity, man. And I was really trying to, break my neck to get here because I had this session. It was funny. I had this session with this guy, and he just kept asking for like
5 more
Another
too much
take?
stuff, and it wasn't even no, not another take. Just can we replace that like those 4 bars with side stick?
Oh.
And I was like, oh yeah, sure. And so by the time we did a whole replacement, it's like, I could have just played the whole thing down.
Right. Yeah.
We could have talked through it, and I could have just played a take or two, 2 takes.
Yeah, with the song is only 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's
the whole thing.
bro, less than that. This guy got 3-minute tunes. He's not like it's not like a jazz record or anything. So it was just a pop thing.
3 minutes, you could get out of there.
And so,
now you're searching for it, cue it up. This is what I'm going to give you. You got it? Okay, here's the real count in.
But we got through it, and I was like looking at the time, like I got to get back, So I made it, and then at the very right moment, you sent me come in at this time, enter the chat or the podcast at this time. I was like, somebody loves me.
We're gonna get you back. I'm gonna ask if, with your permission, I can get your details from Chris. Give you a call, man. Especially since travel sometimes, so might be out there. So call me before, in Atlanta. Please look us up, man.
Text me before Friday, man. We talk about Carmen. Maybe you said I said I'm here with Carmen or whatever, man. I want to get all the background on how you guys, know and everything, man. She's always been a hero of mine. I worked with her when I was like really young, and haven't really seen her in years and years. So this is going to be pretty cool.
Still bad to the bone, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. All right, brother. We will see you soon. I talk to you, man, the next day.
Okay, man. Peace and happiness, everybody.
Peace, man. All right, thank you.
Thanks, man.
Man, that was cool, man.
Wow.
Gotta be teaching somewhere, bro.
Man, he wasn't. He was at Austin. I don't know what happened. I never really asked, but I got a feeling I know. So, the way, because is as serious as he is about the especially about the history,
right?
You know what you're up against nowadays, man.
Yeah. Definitely.
So,
and man, as musicians, we always got to wear those hats, right? So if you're performing a lot, something's got to give. You're recording, something's got to give,
But you man, you need those cats in my opinion, you still want, cats like yourself, Brannen. You want those guys. Even if you can't get them full time, you want them part time, because to me, it just ups the level of, not only necessarily, not just your faculty, but just in terms of like, man, we have real cats here, man. This is important.
Practitioners of the craft. Yeah.
Absolutely. And especially, man, from the history angle. I learned a lot of stuff tonight. I had no idea. I didn't know there was an album, Philly with hi-hat. I'm like, what? Like, what is this?
Right.
But it makes sense. It makes sense.
You like all this being economical. They are really being economical.
Cat pawned all this stuff, bro. All he had was a hi-hat, man. Unbelievable, man.
Wait, what you call the kit that you would have at the little place we used to play off of 12th and Juniper?
12th and Juniper, 12th. Oh, the Einstein's kit?
Einstein kit, bro. You had a name for it, the Einstein kit, bro.
Man, the Einstein's kit, man. I can't. Yeah, everything. I if it didn't fit in my hand, I wasn't bringing it. You remember that gig we did with Maurice, where I didn't have the Einstein's kit, but I had the scaled down joint.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get slick, man. And lo and behold, we playing with Quincy Jones in the audience, dude. I was like, oh.
Right. Oh, bro. Man. Bro, I had a gig one time. I'm not gonna name this drummer, He's got on the gig, bro. Nobody was in it. It was the first time he's doing it. Now we're still getting paid for the gig.
Right.
He's like, hey, bro, you want me to bring all my stuff in? I said, yeah, bring it in. We still got to play.
Right.
He said, man, I got the electric joint in the car. I said, electric joint? Dude had like a pad, the two little foot pedal things. It wasn't even like a regulation electric kit. It was like one of them weird knockoff Simmons kits, electric kits, bro. And he showed it to me. Yeah, your sound went out, but that's okay. There you go.
All right, all right, that's enough of this, man. I can't do it no more.
What'd you say?
I said, was it a regular electric kit or
no? We had like a metal bar that everything attached to, and little feet at the bottom, bruh. And then you had two little pedals that you play, and you play like this. And I just looked at him. I said, "Nah, bruh." He said, "Wait till you hear it." I said, "I'm not gonna hear it tonight, bruh." I was like, "You can bring in a hi-hat, bass drum, and snare if you want to, but you can't bring that, bro."
Man,
no.
That cat was like, "Hey, man, you got a bass drum I can borrow?"
Oh, I had one. Borrow mine, bro.
Hey, I've been through that though.
Several decades apart.
It's like, get me once, but you're not gonna get me twice, man.
But like, I might as well do the gig. You're gonna call.
Hey, man, you got a snare and a kick I can borrow?
It's
like snare and kick. I gave you a snare and I gave you.
I have
what happened to the other one I gave you?
Can I have a bass drum and a hi-hat clutch? Huh?
Man, this time I just need some hardware, man.
What about this? My brother-in-law dressed to the nine, bro. Let me have your best cologne. Wait, bro.
Your best cologne.
My best cologne.
You don't want the high karate?
You want the high karate, the Old Spice, man? Get that.
High karate.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
We got to go through colognes back in the day. I used to rock Drakkar, man. What you used to rock?
Ooh,
I used to hit
Drakkar too until it started becoming offensive.
Drakkar.
It's like Drakkar.
Karl Lagerfeld.
Lagerfeld, yeah.
Did you have Lagerfeld?
Did you do Cool Water Davidoff, whatever that was?
Nah, I couldn't do Cool Water, man. I was in the
Michael Jordan one. I never did Michael Jordan's cologne.
I used to do
Polo Green.
I had Polo Green. I had gray flannel. Did you ever do gray flannel?
My brother did. Don did gray flannel.
Gray flannel was nice.
Yeah.
Trying to think what other ones, man. I went
through a bunch of it was in a blue bottle squared off. Oh, what's the name of that joint?
Blue bottle squared off.
Yeah. Perry something.
You're not talking about Perry Ellis, not Perry Ellis.
Perry Ellis. It was Perry Ellis. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Perry Ellis. Okay.
Yeah. My brother he went to the let's see, Claiborne for Men or something, but it was like a Burberry something. That's what he liked. Don liked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. This has been fun. We are going to go ahead and wrap it up. And
anything about the World Series that
oh boy, we haven't heard a darn thing. I don't have a good feeling about this if you're a Yankee fan.
Yeah.
Nothing.
All right.
Crickets. I haven't even heard John Lamatina has nothing to say at this point. Nothing.
Well, it's about that time. We're not going to be here next week, but the week after, right?
That's about what I'm hearing, man. Oh, Yanks are up.
What?
Yanks are up 10-4. Okay.
Oh,
they came alive.
Man.
They came alive. Okay. So, yes. So, next week we will be taking a short hiatus. What'd he say? What? Sigwell says, I traded a guy 2 ounces of weed back in 92 for a drum kit. And I took lessons and couldn't figure it out. I did learn how to play Round and Round by Rat. Holy mackerel.
That's your guy.
That's my guy, man.
I like Sig, man. Well,
all right, guys. Well, yeah, we will be off next week. And I will be in Key West doing my charity. And Tyrone will be at home chilling, hopefully, because he got a lot of stuff. So he had the night off. Falgu will be well, he won't be at a Braves game. He'll probably be at a Hawks game at this point, right? Is that what? All of a sudden he's at these games, dude. I think he's seen enough of these sessions, man. The session's not top priority anymore. He's
back, man.
Look, man, he's analyzing Bill Evans'
right
solos at this point. I think he's figured it out, man.
Right, yeah.
Because I mean, I was trying to think, did he miss anything last night?
I'm trying to think if he missed something. There was something happened. It wasn't too crazy last night.
No. Constance taking 3 hours to enter the song.
I wish you flew back in the spring.
I just say we just do the whole song rubato, man. Just do the whole thing rubato.
Oh, well, you gonna put it on me?
No, I'm just saying. I think for her, just do the song rubato because we don't know what time. Part. You don't know what time feel she's gonna do.
You missed my favorite part in the song. The lyrics go, I hate when people do this. And she went, and then a kiss. Mwah. I hate that song.
Act out the lyrics.
Right.
They act the lyrics.
Kiss, from you to this.
Anyway, we're just having some fun, Constance. If you see this, we're just we love you.
We
love you.
We safe. We're safe, man. She got that dial-up joint.
Do that on the internet, bro. It could be true. She know she'll call you though. She know how to call you though. She calls you no text message. Constance,
I didn't like what you said, Tyro.
It's like, oh man. All right, guys. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Oh, wait a second. What is this? That wins comment of the show. What did I say? What did we say?
No, that was Sigwell. I was trading the guy 2 ounces of weed for.
Sig. All right, guys. Subscribe. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube. Thank you to Brannen Temple.
Yeah.
And we're going to have some more fun with him in the future. And other than that, I know we had a request from Rich. What?
Wait, one thing.
Okay. What?
Hey, Falgu. Did somebody have a birthday this month?
Oh, that was me. You talking about me?
Everybody, let's wish our host happy birthday, Mr. Libra himself, Mr. Chris Burroughs. Give it up. Happy birthday, my brother.
That was back on the 17th. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Did we? Can't remember. It just, man, these things just go by you. They just go by you.
Got to check you out before you go out to, do something, bro, for your birthday, bro.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
We actually still got to take Falgu out.
Got to take Falgu out. Yeah. All right. We'll figure it out. But happy birthday.
All right. Thank you, bro. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And we will see you all in 2 weeks. Thanks.
Yeah.